November 3rd, 2016 meeting of the Athens City Planning Commission. There are 3 voting members present today with 2 absentees. Is there anyone who's planning on speaking with the Planning Commission today, or?
Yes, me.
Okay, you just want to raise your right hand, and do you swear to tell the truth to the Planning Commission as you know it?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Disposition of minutes. Are there any changes, concerns?
I don't have any.
I don't have any either.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
3 votes for and 2 absentees. Let's see, disposition of minutes. Cases, there are none today. Communications, 2 and 4 Dalton Avenue, a Title 21 minor subdivision. Mr. Soroy, you want to introduce?
Yes, sir. What we plan on doing here is a minor subdivision for 2 and 4 Dalton Avenue. This is consisting of 2 residences on a 2.22 acre plot or parcel, and one of the homes was in the process of being condemned, and we've notified and spoke with the owners, and we're in the process of trying to redo the structure and bring these structures back to their original appearance when they were first constructed. So that's where we're going for approval of this minor subdivision.
Okay.
With a variance.
With variance, yes.
And do you plan to bring this up for the next meeting?
At the next meeting, yes.
Okay. Is that something that you wanted to speak towards, or?
I suppose.
Okay.
If you wanted to ask me any questions.
Sure. If you want to just go to the podium, and if you would please state your name and your address, please.
My name is Robert Freeby. My personal residence, I live on Angel Ridge Road.
Sure.
Yeah. And what did you want to know?
Is there anything that... So the one house has been condemned?
One house
Or in the process?
was in the process of being condemned.
Okay.
And we did evaluation on it, and through a process, through our office, contacted the owners, and through cooperation of Capstone and Mr. Funk, we made arrangements with the owner, Mr. Croxford, to see about stabilizing the structure and working on getting the structure back to its original appearance. The problem we have here is that it's a 1 parcel, and they have 2 residences and 3 accessory buildings. So with the minor subdivision, or basically splitting it down the middle, it'll bring the lots to conformity, not being conformed. All the current existing structures meet all the setbacks that are required. The variance would be for the depth to width ratio. The width with the split is 100 feet for each parcel, and the depth, I do believe, is over 400 feet. Mm-hmm. They are currently in the process of, they've cleaned up the property really well. It was in a terrible mess. Very much to their credit, they've done an excellent job of maintaining this property. Obviously, I only started in March, but since then, we've been really working hard on keeping this property clean and identifying where and what we can do with this property without incurring any further cost to the taxpayer.
Thank you. Are there any other questions?
Is one of these properties currently being inhabited by somebody?
Both are completely uninhabited.
Both are completely uninhabitable?
Uninhabited
Oh, gotcha.
currently.
Do you know how long they've been vacant?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I mean, the one that 4 Dalton's probably been vacant for many, many, many
Right.
years.
Okay.
As far as 2, I have no idea. Both are not livable at this point. Yeah.
So originally, I mean, it's in the documentation here, originally both of these structures were part of the Wayne National Forest.
Yeah, the initial site for the Wayne National Forest headquarters. It was, apparently, from what I've heard, it was the first development there on the Far East Side. So historically significant, and that's something we're very passionate about generally. We'd love to see such a site not fall into such ruin, you know.
Will the properties be rented out or sold?
Honestly, I'm not really sure. We haven't thought that far ahead on things. I haven't. I'm focused primarily on just on restoring it to its original condition. The next meeting, Mr. Funk will be here present, and I'm sure he can expand upon the details then.
Okay. I'm sorry.
I'm probably getting way too far into the nitty-gritty in this, but I'm just looking at this, and there was a gas tank, a gas fill station on this site, and in 2015, has that been cleared with Buster, or
And that's what we're gonna look at. I haven't looked at yet. That's part of the
in
process.
terms of EPA?
Yeah, yeah.
I believe this is a variance, so council, the planning commission's responsibility would be to make a recommendation to city council, and council will award the variance for subdivision regs or not.
And that's for the ratio?
Yes.
Yes.
Christie, did you have anything?
I don't think so. Like, everything else is in line with code requirements.
Yes, ma'am.
Those sorts of things.
Yes, we went out and actually took physical measurements.
Okay. And you're not the actual property owner, but you're working with the current property owner, is that
Correct.
correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so they'll be back here at the next meeting.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Report from the city planner, Mr. Logue.
I don't have too much this afternoon. The Sustainability Commission is wrapping up the sustainability plan. I know I keep saying that, but it's true. The Historic Preservation Commission is will be meeting on the 14th, and they're going to be talking about signage for the Near East Side Historic District. That was adopted about 5 or 6 years ago. There's been some interest from some homeowners in that area to put some signage out to let everybody know that it's on the National Registry of Historic Places. So we're going to be discussing that. They're also interested in updating the Uptown Historic District nomination from 1981 to bring in all the new data on changes with the buildings, as well as evaluate potential buildings that might be eligible for historic registration at this point that were not eligible back in 1981 because they weren't at least 50 years old at that time. So some of those buildings are now getting close to 80 years old, so they may be worthy of historic nomination. Otherwise, business as usual. We did approve of note for the Planning Commission. If you'll recall, a few months ago, you approved a Title 41 site plan review for a conversion of the location behind the community center. It used to be a car impoundment lot for, I think it's a Mr. Muntean applied, and with Nicholas Bittner as his architect. They were required to have a floodway analysis completed as part of that. We just signed off on it this morning, actually. Local engineering firm completed the hydraulic study, and there's no rise in the floodway, and then no rise in the base flood elevation, so we were able to sign off on that. So that should be moving forward soon, probably spring, or they might be doing site clearings this winter.
Any questions or comments?
Nope.
Thank you, Mr. Logue. Mr. Surroy?
Just a couple of things. One positive thing, Shade Tree Commission was reviewing Texas Roadhouse. When they constructed, they were supposed to do landscaping requirements, and they've since, we met with them, and they met with the Shade Tree Commission, and put together a landscaping process. And if you go out to the market area, you'll see they've laid out the footprint where they're going to start the curb cuts and start putting in that landscaping. The second thing is Dirty Dog Car Wash, which is being built at the end of East State Street next to the El Camino restaurant. That's going to be a nice project when that's done. And other than that, that's all I have.
Thank you very much. Any questions, comments? Okay. There is no one in our audience, live audience today to speak to the commission. Announcements and other business? Anything? Okay. Otherwise, we will meet November 17, 2016. And with our business concluded, this meeting is adjourned.